Hello, billionairettes, and welcome back to another read with me session slash read with me session on this incredible book, What I Know for Sure by Oprah Winfrey. We have two more incredible chapters left, one on clarity, which we're going to dive into right now. And then the last one um, is, let's see what it is, power. Okay, so clarity, and then we're going to dive into power. So clarity is going to have two parts here. This is going to be part one, and let's get right into it. All right. If you have missed any of the other chapters and want to dive into them, go check the playlist. We have them all there that you can listen into and you can read at the same time, which is super powerful as well. All right. My name is Vanessa Black. So happy and grateful that you are here. Let's do it. First, say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do. Epictetus. I was 40 years old when I learned to say no. In my early years of working in television, I was often overwhelmed by people's view of me as a benevolent caregiver. Some would spend their last dime on a bus ticket to get to me. Children would run away from home. Abused women would leave their husbands and show up at the doorstep of my studio, all hoping I'd help. In those days, I'd spend a lot of energy trying to get a girl back to her family or hanging on the phone with someone who was threatening to kill herself. I found myself writing check after check, and over time, that wore on my spirit. I was so busy trying to give all that everyone else needed me to offer that I lost touch with what I had a genuine desire to give. I'd been consumed by the disease to please, and often the word yes would be out of my mouth before I even knew it. I know exactly where the disease came from. Having a history of abuse also meant a history of not being able to set boundaries. Once your personal boundaries have been violated as a child, it's difficult to regain the courage to stop people from stepping on you. So you fear being rejected for who you really are. So for years, I spent my life giving everything I could to almost anyone who asked. I was running myself ragged, trying to fulfill other people's expectations of what I should do and who I should be. What cured me was understanding the principle of intention. To quote Gary Zukov again from his book, The Seat of the Soul, every action, thought, and feeling is motivated by an intention. And that intention is a cause that exists as one with an effect. If we participate in the cause, it is not possible for us not to participate in the effect. In this most profound way, we are held responsible for our every action, thought, and feeling, which is to say, for our every intention. I started to examine the intention behind my saying yes when I really meant no. I was saying yes to people they wouldn't be angry with me, so they would think I was a nice person. My intention was to make people feel I was the one they could call on, count on, last minute, no matter what. And that was exactly what my experience reflected. A barrage of requests in every aspect of my life. Shortly after I started to understand this, I got a call from somebody quite famous who wanted me to donate to his charity. He was asking for a lot of money, and I told him I had to think about it. What I thought about was, is this a cause I really believe in? No. Do I really think that writing a check is going to make any difference whatsoever? No. So why would I do it? Because I don't want this person to think I'm stingy. This was no longer a good enough reason for me. I wrote down a few words which I now keep on my desk. Never again will I do anything for anyone that I do not feel directly from my heart. I will not attend a meeting, make a phone call, write a letter, sponsor, or participate in any activity in which every fiber of my being does not resound yes. I will act with the intent to be true to myself. Before you say yes to anyone, ask yourself, what is my truest intention? It should come from the purest part of you, not from your head. If you have to ask for advice, give yourself time to let a yes or no resound within you. When it's right, your whole body feels it. I know for sure that I had to first get clear about who I was before I could beat the disease to please. When I accepted that I was a decent, kind, and giving person, whether I said yes or no, I no longer had anything to prove. I was once afraid of people saying, who does she think she is? Now I have the courage to stand and say, this is who I am. I'm not nearly as stressed as people might imagine. Over the years, I've learned to focus my energy on the present, to be fully aware of what's happening in every moment, and not to worry about what should have happened, what's going wrong, or what might come next. Yet, because I do have an awful lot on my plate, if I didn't find a way to decompress, I'd be totally ineffective and probably a little crazy too. None of us is built to run nonstop. That's why, when you don't give yourself the time and care you need, your body rebels in the form of sickness and exhaustion. How do I get back to myself? Hardly a day goes by that I don't talk things out with Gail. Almost every night, I soak in a hot bath and light a candle or two. It may sound hokey, but focusing on a burning candle for a minute while taking deep and relaxing breaths is very calming. In the evenings, right before sleep, I don't read or watch anything, including late night news. That would give me anxiety. And because I don't like fitful dreams, I protect my sleep by dealing with difficult situations during my waking hours. I also keep a gratitude journal, and at the end of a workday, I come down by reading a great novel or just sitting with myself to come back to my center. It's what I call going mindless. As women, we've been programmed to sacrifice everything in the name of what is good and right for everyone else. Then, if there's an inch left over, maybe we can have a piece of that. We need to deprogram ourselves. I know for sure that you can't give what you don't have. If you allow yourself to be depleted to the point where your emotional and spiritual tank is empty and you're running on fumes of habit, everybody loses, especially you. I once taped a show in which a life coach discussed the concept of self care, putting your own needs ahead of anyone else's, and the audience booed. Women were upset by the mere suggestion that they should put their needs before those of their children. I interrupted to explain. No one was saying you should abandon your children and let them starve. The life coach was suggesting that you nurture yourself so you'll have more nurturing to give to those who need you. It's the airplane oxygen mask theory. If you don't put on your mask first, you won't be able to save anyone else. So stop and take a look at your own needs. Go mindless. Let go and remind yourself that this very moment is the only one you know that you have for sure. What I know for sure is that your breath is your anchor, the gift you've been given, that we've all been given, to center ourselves in this very moment. Whenever I have an encounter that involves even the slightest tension, I stop, draw in a deep breath, and release. Ever notice how often you unconsciously hold your breath? Once you start paying attention, it might surprise you to see how much tension you've been carrying around inside. Nothing is more effective than a deep, slow inhale and release for surrendering what you can't control and focusing again on what's right in front of you. Here's a confession. I have a fear of flying over the ocean, though anytime I get on a plane, it's a flight of faith, a belief in something greater than myself. Aeronautics, God, flying over the ocean is particularly disconcerting. I'm not that good a swimmer. But when I have to cross continents, I just do it because I want to be bigger than my fear. I bought a home on a Hawaii mountain because it was what I imagined paradise to be, knowing that every time I had to cross the Pacific to get there, I would challenge my fear. The day after Christmas a few years ago, my plane had been airborne long enough for us to pull out Scrabble and start thinking about lunch. Urania, my friend Bob Green's wife, had brought leftovers from Christmas dinner. No more mashed potatoes for me, I said. I'll just have turkey, dark meat, preferably, and green beans. Our flight attendant, Karen, leaned over the table. I thought she was going to say, "There's no dark meat left," but instead she said calmly, "There's a slight crack in the windshield. We're going to have to turn around." "Oh," I replied. "Captain wants you to strap yourselves in and be ready for oxygen masks." Oxygen masks? What will happen to my dogs? They were lounging nearby. "They'll be fine," Karen said. "We're going to drop to 10,000 feet now." I could feel my heart pounding and my voice rising, though I was trying to mirror her calmness. My mind was speeding. Oxygen, danger, oxygen, danger. I can't swim. Oh, my dear God. I didn't speak, but Karen later said my eyes were as big as plums. Stedman, steady as a boulder, took my hand, looked me in the eye, and said, "You're going to be fine. God didn't bring you this far to leave you. Remember that." The crack had spread and shattered the entire left side of the windshield. We could see it from our seats. Whoosh, thump, whoosh, thump. I know all the familiar sounds on that aircraft, and this was something different. I don't like hearing something different at 40,000 feet. "What's that noise, Karen?" "We're depressurizing the cabin, lowering altitude quickly, and that sound is the oxygen pump. The pilots are on oxygen, just in case." I didn't ask, just in case what? Because we all knew the answer, just in case that windshield blew. The pilots, Terry and Danny, turned the plane around and I watched the clock. 27 minutes to landing, I thought. What if I listened to my inner voice and not flown today? Several times that morning, I had wanted to cancel. I was feeling off balance, rushed. I called Bob Green and said, I may not go today. Why? He said. Not feeling it. What do you think? I think you should consult that trusted inner voice of yours. I had taken a bath since the tub is where I do my best thinking and got out ready to call the pilots and postpone the trip. And then I didn't. I overrode that feeling. If I hadn't, wouldn't the windshield still have cracked? No doubt. But would we have been over the ocean with no place to land? I looked at the clock again. 26 minutes and 12 seconds. Until landing. I was going to lose my mind watching that clock, so I started to read. Soon I felt resolve, calm. We'll be all right, no matter the outcome. The whoosh, thump became a source of comfort. Oxygen, light, oxygen, light. We landed safely, of course. The windshield was replaced, and the day after, the pilot said, we can fly anytime you're ready. Did I dare fly over the ocean again so soon? What was the lesson for me? Did I get it? I know for sure that whenever your inner GPS is off kilter, trouble awaits. Your instincts are your compass. I got it. I get it. I know it for sure. Up in the air, I relearned the importance of tuning out distraction and tuning in to myself. One of the most important questions a woman can ask herself: what do I really want? And what is my spirit telling me is the best way to proceed? My answer eventually led me toward my passion for serving women and girls. I have a deep understanding of what it's like to be a girl who has suffered abuse or lived in poverty. And I believe that education is the door to freedom, the rainbow that leads to the pot of gold. I began to realize that in order to be most effective, I had to be extremely focused on using my time, my concern, my resources, and my compassion to uplift a generation of courageous women who own themselves and know their strength. I knew I couldn't save every dying child or intervene in case of abuse. None of us can. But once I got clear about what I most wanted to give, much of what didn't line up with that intention naturally fell away. Those years of becoming focused taught me a powerful lesson about letting go of the outside pressures and distractions and instead turning into my gut. That inkling that says, hold on, something's not right here. Please pause and make an adjustment. For me, doubt often means don't. Don't move, don't answer, don't rush forward. When I'm mired in uncertainty about what the next step should be, I'm asked to do something for which I feel little enthusiasm. That's my sign to just stop or to get still until my instincts give me the go-ahead. I believe that uncertainty is my spirit's way of whispering, I'm in flux. I can't decide for you. Something is off balance here. I take that as a cue to recenter myself before making a decision. When the universe compels me toward the best path to take, it never leaves me with maybe, or should I, or even perhaps. I always know for sure when it's telling me to proceed, because everything inside of me rises up to reverberate. Yes. And that concludes today's Read With Me session. We'll see you in the next Read With Me session when we hit up part 2 of this incredible chapter on clarity. See you there. Make sure to give it a like if you got value out of this first part, and we'll see you in the next one. Take care.